Baltimore Ravens legend, Duane Starks. So, talk to us about growing up in Miami and how much football is a part of Miami lifestyle and culture.
Man, football is everything here in Miami. I mean, you got some of the top guys that come up out of this area, man, and we start kids out from man 4 or 5 years old now, man, and that's what they eat and drink and breed that all day.
Yes, sir.
South Florida is a hotbed for a lot of different colleges, a lot of different high schools, and that's just one thing that we pride ourselves on is playing some ball. Now, one thing about basketball, basketball, we leave that up to the guys up north, but we do got some ballers down here too.
Yeah, leave that to us.
But yeah, we'll leave that up north, but football definitely is our thing.
Yeah, for sure. So going into college was University of Miami always your first choice, and what went into that decision?
That's a different. I took a different route actually. Me leaving high school, I ended up going to a junior college first. A lot of people don't know that. I went to a Holmes Junior College in Mississippi. Some of the best talent I ever played against. One of our NFL Hall of Famers was on my team, Walter Jones, offensive tackle.
Wow.
Wow.
He ended up going to Florida State and becoming the player that he is.
Yeah.
And now he's a Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame. Um, and you there? Okay, I got you.
Yes, sir.
Uh, but yeah, Miami man is the University of Miami. I signed with Clemson first. Going back to your question, I signed with Clemson first, and then I went to a junior college, of course, and realized like, yo, man, I got to get back home. I had a son at the time. He was, a newborn, and he came up to Mississippi to see me play in the junior college game at homecoming. My parents brought him up, and he acted like he didn't know me, and that hurt me. That hurt me dearly. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, I got to get back down to Miami, and everything worked out, man, because all of a sudden, Pete Garcia gave me a call and he was like, hey, man, you still interested in coming to University of Miami? And I was like, most definitely. So, we got that all worked out. I ended up back at the University of Miami, and the rest was history.
It's awesome.
Definitely. So with the great defensive backs that come out of Miami, Sean Taylor, Ed Reed, Philip Buchanan, to name a few, where do you rank yourself, Mr. Starks?
I definitely rank myself the best cover corner that came out of the University of Miami.
Absolutely.
We have,
I like it.
we we had, of course, great talent. I mean, all of those guys got great talent. Antrell Roll. You got to think about the Robert Baileys, like even before the younger era, the Ryan McNeils. A lot of those guys, man. And the guy that you don't hear much about that was really a fast, great cover corner is a guy named Reggie Sutton. You know what I mean? He ended up going to New Orleans, playing a little bit with the Dolphins, playing a little bit, but he had some other issues that kept him off the field. So, but that's one of the greats that you'll never really hear about anymore. You're probably not going to hear his name unless a guy like myself talk about him. But of course, you had Mike Rump, the younger guys, Antrell Rowe, like I mentioned, Philip Buchanan. Those guys were great corners, good corners, and they always had their own special abilities and their special talent. But like I say, I have to give myself the most underrated, but the best that ever came out as a cover corner.
I respect that. I respect that. So, Mr. Starks, overall, who's on your all-time top 5 Hurricanes list?
All-time top 5, of course, Warren Sapp, Randall Hill, Ray Lewis, of course.
Yes, sir.
And when you talk about receivers, man, you got Skinny Man Thomas. You know what I mean? So, hey, when you can look back at, the University of Miami 30 for 30, and you can list a whole lot of them, man. The Melvin Brattons, the Kevin, what's Kevin's last name? Oh, man. It's just so many to name, man. It's just that team and those teams, the University of Miami, period, have so much talent. I mean, I can go to Edgerrin James, the Frank Gores, the Clinton Porters.
You
It,
Yeah.
talking now?
Willis
it just don't
McGee's, yeah,
stop.
it don't
It
stop.
don't stop. Exactly,
A
it
lot
don't
of y'all
stop.
can't think, yeah.
So right, a lot you can't you can't say a favorite, but I can go on and on and on. The Sean Taylors, you know what I mean, like
Rest in peace
the
to the great.
Kennard Lanes, the Kenny Holmes, all,
Oh, you giving it up,
the
Mr.
Jeremy
Starks.
Shockeys.
Yeah, you didn't even mention the tight ends. I was about to say the tight ends too.
Yeah, I was about to say Winslow.
Yep,
You know,
yep.
all of those guys, man. It don't stop, man. It don't stop at all.
So talk to us about getting drafted by the Ravens in the first round, and how did that moment feel to you?
Hmm. Oh, that moment had to be the most enjoyable moment in my life and my family's life. Uh, you know, you think back on what I've been through in a sense of little league football, high school football, junior college football, all the different things that I went through to get to that point coming to fruition. That, you know, it's like every bear crawl, every sweat, every injury, every broken bone was all worth it because now I'm in a position to change my life, my life and my family's life. So words cannot put it in. It really can't put it in uh, into perspective of how it really felt. You know what I'm saying? Words cannot say the feeling that you get, that overwhelming joy, that happiness, those tears that's going to come out. Like every time I watch the draft, man, I see those kids crying. I know exactly what they're feeling. And, you know, like this is the moment that you've been waiting for all your life, just to be able to, you know, change your stripes and to go out and make something of yourself. And you don't have to, you know, live in the environment that we all came up in. We can actually get away, in a
Yes, sir.
sense, and you know, live comfortably and not looking, you know, over our back, wondering if somebody gonna, you know, put a bullet in me because you know, because I accidentally stepped on their toe or any little thing, or accidentally hanging around the wrong person at the wrong time. You know, a lot of those things play out, man, and that feeling of knowing that you've made it to the highest level, that's just an amazing feeling.
So you were a crucial part of the Ravens, you know, the best defense in our history. In your opinion, what made the 2000 Ravens defense the best defense of all time?
Uh, Man, I think, you know, I just heard Ozzie Newsome talk doing an interview with someone, with Shannon Sharp actually, and he talked about how the older veterans were there to mentor the younger guys. Uh, the key part of that is that we did it on our own time. We had fun. You know, we all went out with a purpose of winning. You had a lot of guys that came from winning programs. Uh, Ray Lewis with the spirit that he had, and not only did he talk the talk, he walked the walk. So if you wasn't following behind a guy like that, and you weren't following behind Tony Saragusa, a Rob Burnett, a Michael McCrary, Peter Bulwer, winning program guys, you know, Shannon Sharp. You know, if you can't rally around their energy and what they mean to the National Football League and what they stand for, and you on the wrong team. So, you know, for us to go out and gel the way that we did, even when Ray Lewis was going through his situation with the Atlanta deal, uh, we all stuck together. You know, we felt like it was us against the world, and we had a lot to prove, and we actually had fun proving it. So that was the good part, man. So when that happened, especially with the type of defense that we had and the success that we had the Rod Woodsons there that kept myself and Chris McAllister in line, not necessarily as a disciplinary, but more so as a leader and knowing what he has done in the past and what he was bringing to the table as a defensive captain, you know. So that made that team that much more special than any other team that I've been on.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. So, as you know, this marks the 20-year anniversary of the Ravens Super Bowl, which was also in Tampa where this Super Bowl take place. In your opinion, you know, for
Right.
you, what was the build-up like to the Super Bowl? How did they spend the weeks in Tampa leading up to the game?
Well, our thing was, you know, whatever we did throughout the whole year, let's just keep it the same. You know, one thing, you know, we didn't have curfew, you know, so we was like, hey, coach, don't change it now. Let us just do what we do. And, you know, we're responsible enough to know what we have to do the next day at practice. We all know, you know, and that all worked for us, you know. So, like the Giants, man, they were on curfew all week. It was like, oh man, so you know they couldn't wait to get out. It's not like they were pit bulls couldn't wait to get out the cage to fight. It's just that they couldn't wait to get out to actually enjoy the Super Bowl festivities, understanding
Faso
what
had
it's
them
all
on lock.
about. Yeah, it's man, when you're able to get out there and just see the Super Bowl as it is, enjoy it as a player, enjoy the game as well. When it comes to the game, it's much easier because all the distractions are not done.
Definitely.
You know, but now when you're locked up in a hotel room, you know, as soon as you get out, you're playing for the wrong reason.
Yeah. That's a
You know, we
testament
were
to your
playing to
locker
win.
room.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, like I say, with the leaders that we had, it's like, yo, curfew. If we got to be back, it's not curfew, but if we got to be back by the hotel at a certain time, and coaches don't want us out in these clubs at, you know, after 11, after 12 o'clock, we make sure you get your butt back to the hotel. So we held each other accountable, and it was more so the players than the coaches themselves.
Yes, sir. I can still remember watching that game in my basement, a young fifth grader, and watching us win that Super Bowl. So I'm not gonna lie to you right now. This is a huge moment. So I really appreciate it. But talk to us about the moment you won the Super Bowl and what that meant for you winning in your home state.
Oh man, I don't know if it was more about the home state. I think it was more about the same thing, the same feeling that you get when you drafted. You know, you worked hard for this. You overcame all the odds to get to this point, beating the Tennessee Titans, which was a tough team, twice. You get what
Very
I'm saying?
tough, yes, sir.
Like, yeah, that was tough. You know, overcoming all the distractions we was faced with, you know, throughout the whole year. Rather our offense is not scoring enough points. Rather, you know, Ray is going through his thing, and other players on the team that's going through their little thing that was overshadowed because of Ray. So some of them were happy. Some of them were happy that Ray's story was bigger than theirs. But you know, winning a game like that, knowing that this is the plateau of the NFL, this is the world championship where everyone's watching, where you can actually make a name for yourself. You can actually go out and accomplish something that a lot of guys don't get a chance to accomplish. I played golf with this guy, Cornelius Bennett, you know, and went to 5 different Super Bowls and lost all 5. So just imagine, you know, me going to 1 and winning 1. I'm 100%. He's over 5. You know? So, you know, we talk about that all the time, and when guys are around, they bring that up, you know, and he's like, man, don't talk about no Super Bowl. Don't talk about no Super Bowl. And me, on the other hand, I'm like, man, you can talk about Super Bowl all you want to.
Hey, Mr. Starks, what's your handicap?
Man, I'm trending below 10 now, so I'm getting there.
Okay, you shooting it.
I'm getting there. I started really high. Me, Fred Taylor, Lito Shepard, all of us started, you know, high 20s. We were shooting 100. And now, you know, I peaked my game. I got my game right. You know, and I kind of left them in the dust a little bit, but they still playing pretty good.
I hear
Yeah.
that.
Hey, Mr. Starks, were y'all worried about the Giants at all coming into the game?
No, I mean, the only thing that, as a defensive backfield, that we were worrying about was just getting beat on a trick play. You know, and because we know they were not going to run the ball against us. We know that they can't just throw the ball against us. We had too many great defensive backs. Myself, Chris McAllister, Corey Harris, Kim Harris, of course, Rod Woodson. And then the cover game that our linebackers played, man, that was spectacular. You know, Ray got the MVP, and I go back and look at that game. He batted down at least 3-4 passes. You know, so he was all over the place, man. And that, you know, we wasn't concerned at all, especially after we got on the board first. So that was just, you know, that was something that we wasn't too much worrying about. We just knew we had to worry about ourselves and stay disciplined and just play the game that we know we've been playing all year. Rod Woodson said it best. Rod said, hey, man, he went out and he talked to us and said, hey, guys, this is the same football game. No matter what it stands for, it's the same game. So, you know, get that in your mind. Don't feel like go out there and do anything special because you got this and that.
You know, because you got all these fans and you know, everyone's watching. Just keep going out there and do what we did all year. And that's what we did.
So, Mr. Starks, you briefly mentioned the struggles of the Ravens offense. How much extra pressure was on the defense knowing that points were going to be at a premium that year?
Yeah, like I say, I mean, I don't think it was much pressure on the defense because we were having fun. You know, when you go out there and you actually want to be on the field, it's not like we was like, man, get me off the field, get me off the field. No, each one of us wanted to be out there on the field, either to make a play or to, you know, to do something special. And like I say, to hold each other accountable. Because the thing is, we were scoring on defense as well. You know, we had guys picking off passes, taking them back for, you know, for touchdowns. So we were having fun. It's like as long as we can get a couple of field goals in, and you know, our motto is like, get us 10 points, we'll win.
That's crazy.
So if we give up anything, it may be 7 points, but give us 10 points, we'll win. Give us 13, it's automatic win. So, you know, that's how we felt, man. That's how we felt. That's still a record of 165 points per year, man, for the year.
Yeah. Well, nobody ever touched
That's
that.
going to be hard to top.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to top, especially since the way these offenses are built now. They're throwing the ball a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Game not catered to the defense really either.
No, it's not catered to the defense. I mean, you know, and it's hard to say what we would have done against these against these offenses. A lot of people might say, hey, what do you take the Ravens defense versus the Kansas City offense and stuff like that? Yeah, that's a lot of speculative talk. You know, it's a different game now. So, I don't know. A lot of us on that defense probably get ejected because we don't knock somebody out.
Miss that type of football.
Oh, yeah, especially coming across that middle. Oh, no.
Ooh. Whew.
Not happening.
On our defense back? Oh, no.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Duane, what would you say was the singular event, play, or moment that propelled the Ravens in the end to win the championship?
The single moment. You know, although I like to say my pick six for a touchdown that opened the game up, but I will have to say Jermaine Lewis answering the call when they returned that kickoff, and then Jermaine returned the following kickoff. That had to be one of those nail, like a rusty nail that went into their hearts.
Yeah.
You know, and after that, the game was pretty much over. It was a wrap.
Definitely. So you briefly mentioned it, Mr. Stark. So walk us through your pick six against the Giants in the Super Bowl.
Pick six. I mean, I seen the formation. I've seen the formation, the 2x2 that motions a 3x1. And I just said, hey, if I ever get that play, then I'm definitely jumping this slant. So, you know, when you see something that you've seen on film, time and time again, that actual play goes in slow motion, you know?
Yeah.
So my only focus was catching the ball. You know, they motion from 2x2 formation to a 3x1, and my receiver's on the wide side by itself. I say, okay, the slant's coming. So, you know, it get dropped back. Kerry Collins gave that little hitch where he always released the ball, and I just went for it. almost missed it because not missed the ball, but missed the play because trying to tell my safety to watch my back at the same time. I'm trying to tell my safety to watch my back. If you can replay that, you'll see that I'm tapping myself on the shoulder, saying watch my back, and then they snapped the ball. I just took off. I beat him to the route. He hadn't even gotten into the slant yet, so that was something special. That was something special. And after the game, a reporter came up to me and asked me, how did I feel about it? And he was like, yo, it's probably going to be the best play of your career. And, I got a little upset. Like, why would you say that? It's my third season. I got a lot more football left. But until now, just thinking about how many people talk about that play, how big that play, how big of a stage that was on.
Yeah.
Now I understand what he was saying. He wasn't trying to be negative about it. He was just trying to show me how special that play was, and I appreciate it now than I did then.
Yeah, exactly. For Baltimore, I mean, our first Super Bowl that we saw, so that was special. You had two of them in the AFC title game too, didn't you?
Yep.
Against
Oakland?
Oakland?
The Raiders.
Yeah, against Oakland.
Mm-hmm. Against the Raiders, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Picked off a curl route and picked off a post. And, that really, set a record for me in the sense of consecutive interceptions in the postseason. I didn't know how special that was. The thing is, when you're doing it, you don't understand when you're living in the moment. But when you look back, you're like, wow, I didn't know how hard this was for people to accomplish. So when you realize that, you think back and say, man, okay, that was special.
Yeah. What was that like playing in the black hole for a chance to go to the Super Bowl? Because they say it's a hostile environment.
Yeah, it was pretty hostile. I mean, I've played in college stadiums that was worse than that. West Virginia was horrible.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The only thing, I've never been afraid of costumes, and that's one thing that Oakland had. So they were full of costumes, so it looks a little scary. They talk a lot of trash, but I've been in college stadiums that's worse than that. And, for one, I ended up playing in Oakland for my last 2 seasons, so and we were definitely not winning. But all those costumes as just to show,
Yes, sir.
They got on the field, the players were there. We didn't have to worry about the costumes, just the players.
Yes, sir. So what makes the Baltimore Ravens one of the most successful and classiest organizations in the National Football League?
Oh, man, for many, many reasons. They've always handled themselves with much class, like you say. And for one, the way they do things, when they do it right. They take care of their players. They take care of their former players. It's almost like once a Raven, always a Raven. And the way that they put their functions together, because they know how special, the Baltimore Ravens is to Baltimore itself. When I first got there in '98 and the Baltimore Ravens was there in '96, they moved from Cleveland. Baltimore, pretty much downtown looked like a slumlord. It looked like a slum yards, and then after that Super Bowl, then you've seen so much grow in that city, the restaurants opening up, different businesses opening up. So the Ravens itself, really, really has changed the perspective of what Baltimore is about in the sense of pride. A lot of people had something, pride, things to talk about. What else? The reunion that they put together for all the former players, all of those things make that team that program a very special program. And any time you can go to a place where you see the same employees for 20 years and no one wants to leave, then that's a great place to be.
Absolutely. Do you have any regrets from your playing days? Is there anything you would change? You sound pretty satisfied, but
man, anything I could change. I don't. It's not much that I would change. I probably talk a lot more trash. you know, because it seems like the more these corners talk trash, the more they become noticed. But I don't know if that would have worked during my time because I was on the team with a bunch of all stars, so probably still would have got overlooked. but
Man,
So
you
yeah,
got
definitely,
some
man.
decent Raven stats though. Like for a career though, like you up there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
are.
so
I mean, I did
speaking
a
on
lot within those 4 years, man. Within
For
those
sure.
4 years, I did a whole lot that my record there and what I allowed the defense to be able to do, scheme wise. My cover skills, Chris McAllister's cover skills, because we were able to cover and lock a guy down. Marvin Lewis was able to call a lot of different blitz packages
Yeah.
with the linebackers. They were able to do a lot more with our defense because a guy like myself and Chris and a couple other guys on our team were able to cover and stay with a receiver for more than 4 or 5 seconds. Um, so that's a great deal. Uh, speaking for what I brought to the team and how we all gelled together and made it all work.
so real quick. Full disclosure, I'm the only Steeler fan on the show. And you spoke about Rod Woodson. You speak about Rod Woodson a lot. That's one of my favorites. Did he talk trash?
Right. No, Rod didn't talk trash. He might talk back at you if you say something to him, but
Oh, but he ain't
you
started.
know,
He just finished it.
he ain't starting. Yeah, he will finish it. He will
My
finish
guy. My guy.
it. I mean, he's a great guy, man. Family man. Guys look up to guys like that. Till this day, we're still friends. A lot of us are still cool with each other. Like I said, that was a special bunch, man.
It was.
I mean, since we on the topic, we was trying to leave this question for our resident Steeler, but since we're on the topic, we know Rod Woodson converted to safety later in his career, and you were able to witness, his greatness from up close. But just curious, seeing Rod up close and then Ed Reed from afar, who do you think played the safety position better?
Man. You know what? Because I didn't see Rod Woodson in his earlier years. I mean, I've known him, but I didn't see him play. And the fact that Ed Reed is a Cane, and his stat speaks for it speaks for itself.
Yes, sir.
I've seen Ed come in as a freshman at the University of Miami, and from day one, I said, "Yo, this kid's gonna be special."
Wow.
And he turned out to be special. Throughout his University of Miami days, throughout his Baltimore career,
Yes, he was.
and I have to take and tilt my hat to a guy like that because they both had the same ability and knack for the ball. They had the awareness and they had the same skills. So, if you put those two side by side, you're probably going to come up with the same type of stats. With Rod Woodson playing, he played 16, 17 years or something like that.
Yeah,
Maybe
Yeah.
15 to 16
Yeah.
years. And,
Long
Ed, without his injuries, he probably would have been playing 15, 16 years. And, his stats is crazy right now. So doing the things that he did, interceptions, taking them back 103 yards, all of those things, the awareness that he had for the game, the same as Rod Woodson, the awareness for the game, how smart they both played. Man, I will have to say they're both great, but I'll give the edge to Ed because he's a Cane.
Settle stuff.
It's all good. I understand the allegiance there. It's all good.
So from
Yeah,
a
man.
defensive perspective, what's the biggest difference between the NFL when you played in the NFL today?
The biggest difference is that, we used to play smash mouth football.
You can hit
It
somebody.
used to be smash mouth football. You can hit someone. You had a lot of great running backs that were out there, not just catching the ball, but brutally bruising you. You know what I mean? The Eddie Georges, the Jerome Bettises. You still have those type of guys. If you look at a Travis Henry, and a lot of guys, Peterson, all of those, it's still the same, but the offensive play calling is a lot different now than it was back then. And what you're able to do defensively back then, and when I say back then, I'm talking a little bit before I was playing, because a lot of the rules didn't change. Well, some of the rules started changing while I was playing. So it's not like it was that much different from the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. But they did put in, the ejections, the concussion protocol stuff. If that's the case, man, a lot of us, we would never finish a game.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't know how many concussions I had throwing my little body in there. Just because the camera's not on me, it didn't catch me wobbling off the field, or, it's tough games out there, man.
Yeah, very physical. So, Mr. Starks, what's your thoughts on Lamar Jackson and the new age dual threat QBs?
If you think back, you look at quarterbacks like Doug Flutie, you look at quarterbacks like Randall Hill, even your Pittsburgh Stewart. I mean, he was able to run the ball. McNabb able to run the ball, and of course Michael Vick, dual threat. But now that's what they're looking for, which it took a while for teams to realize that if you want to win championships, if you want to be in the hunt for a championship, then you got to have those type of quarterbacks. You remember, it was only just stand up, drop back, in the pocket passing quarterbacks, and they didn't look like us. So over time, that time has changed, and we are where we are now because of guys like the ones I mentioned in the past.
Absolutely. So we're coming up on Super Bowl. What are your keys for the Bucs and the Chiefs to win this Sunday, and what is your prediction?
Oh man, the Bucs. In order for the Bucs to win, they have to establish the running game, and I'm talking about picking up 6-7 yards on first down. They have to control the ball and control the time. Now you know that Mahomes, on the other hand, they can strike at any moment. They can make big plays at any moment. With Tampa Bay, it's not going to be the same. Now, you got Mike Evans. He got a lot of the weapons, Gronk, all of those guys. But the weapons that's going to be coming at them, the ammunition that's going to be coming at them from Kansas City, if Tampa defense does not find a remedy for that, then it's going to be a long night. Regardless of how they play, I still think Kansas City wins by at least 10. At least 10.
Can't wait to see it. It should be a good one. So we're coming up
Yeah, I mean,
towards
once.
Go ahead.
Right, because once Kansas City found that weak spot, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Because they got too many weapons. Because now you gotta focus your defense on stopping one play or one guy, but they got too many. They got too many weapons.
And Mahomes, he's not playing out here either. Like he's the real deal.
Yeah, he can hurt you either way, man. He is a Michael Vick, He throws the ball any type of way he can run it. He can, like I say, he can find his weapons. He has great vision on the field, and that's the key. His vision is going to win all the games.
So who is Duane Starks today, and what advice would you have for younger athletes trying to be recognized during these times of pandemic?
Trying to be recognized in what way?
So I mean, recognized as far as how can they work on their craft? How can they alleviate some of these
Are
challenges?
you saying
just not-
athletically or off the field?
athletically, exposure, all of that.
Oh man, kind of what I said about myself before, what I wish I would have done. You make a play because you got to remember you're out on that island on your own as a defensive back. You make a play, you got to make noise. You want to be noticed. You want to have a better career off the field when you're done. You want all of that recognition. You got to do the right thing. And that means doing the right thing on the field, doing the right thing off the field, and just being a stand-up guy overall, and work hard. Study a lot of film because that's more than half the game is knowing what you're doing and knowing what your opponent is doing, and prepare your body to stick around and endure the pain, endure the long season, which is ahead. And like I say, stay active in the community, stay active with the teams, and just stick around. Be present. Don't just be on the team. Be present.
I like that.
Okay, Mr. Starks, one last question before we let you out of here. Who was the toughest wide receiver you had to cover?
Oh man, I'll say Jimmy Smith, man. Jimmy Smith was over 6
Okay,
feet
okay.
something.
Underrated.
He
Too.
had
He
to
seemed like a
run at
pit
least
bull.
a 4.2, 4.3, and he ran every route at the same speed. You have certain receivers that can't get into their breaks. Jimmy can do all of that, and he had hands just like McCardell. I mean, if get anywhere near him, he can catch the ball. And he knows how to use his body. He was one of the toughest guys I ever covered.
Well, Mr. Duane Starks from Nitty Gritty, we appreciate you coming on today, man. We really do.
Appreciate you, Mr. Starks.
And
True.
my pleasure, man. So who y'all rooting for this week?
I got the Chiefs.
I got the Chiefs.
I'm like you.
They're a machine.
I'm like you. I got them by 11, at least
Y'all let me
11.
slow
By
down.
hey, yeah.
You don't
I mean,
think
the
Tom
thing
can
is,
get
it's
set?
gonna
There's
be
no
hard
way
to
Tom
cover.
can get 7, Mr. Starks.
He can get 7 points.
No, his seventh ring.
Yeah, he could. There is a way he can get it. Like I say, their defense have to step up, but it's gonna be more than just the defense because now they have to be hitting on all cylinders, and that's the one thing that they really haven't been consistent at throughout the whole year. Now they went on a hot streak, near the end of the season, but the thing is, if you don't hit on all cylinders, if you're not Mr. Consistency, then you might have a problem. But like you say, any given Sunday, the best team wins on that day.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's a fact. That's a fact. Mr. Duane, you enjoy your evening, sir.
All right, man. You guys have fun.
Legend.
Enjoy.
Appreciate you, Mr. Starks.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. All right, later. Y'all make sure y'all put my IG up there at dstarks22.
Oh, we got you. We got you.
sir.
Oh, we got it.
All right.
Beat you to it.
All right, cool, man.
All right, Mr.
Later.
Starks.